RVA's leading social enterprise show. On the Mic with Mike King Biz, delivering food for thought. To find out more about the dynamic host of On the Mic with Mike, please visit his website at mikekingbiz.com.
On the Mic with Mike.
On the Mic with Mike.
On the Mic with Mike. On the Mic with Mike. On the Mic with Mike. He's like a guru.
No, he's a businessman with a great radio show.
And he supports nonprofits. Watch the show and grow.
This is for me and your husband.
Perfect.
Hey, yo, Richmond, it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit, but keep moving forward. This is the Italian stallion. See, the one I leave Philly when it comes to RVA. I always check out my man, Mike King Biz, on ESPN, 5-7 a.m. The champ of business talk radio. The man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank my good friend. I'm not saying names. I don't name drop. I don't. We'd like to thank him for the promotion of the program. One of Mike King here, part of the Mike King Biz Media Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 International Business Radio, as well as the Hounds of Business. Hey, you know what? I left the light on, and a fellow pencil neck geek is here with me. Have you ever heard that term?
No.
Okay, so back in the day, I'm a lot older than you. There used to be a guy who was a wrestler.
Okay.
Freddie Blassie, we call him. He was classy Freddie Blassie, and whenever he would talk about people from Pennsylvania, because he was a heel, he was a bad guy, and he would call us pencil neck geeks.
Nice.
And so that just became a term. But there's also another thing that we share, and I'll drop it for the folks out there. We are
Penn State.
There you go. Then that's right. So you are a Penn Stater. Tell folks who you are and what you do.
So I'm the vice president for Gilbane Building Company. We are an over 150-year-old company that provides comprehensive construction, development, and facility solutions. Here in Richmond, we've been here for over 40 years. I've got over 90 employees, and we build everything from, renovating a sound studio to the new General Assembly building that just opened. That's one of our projects over at Westminster, Canterbury, that whole vibrancy thing. And then coming up in the future, Virginia Museum of Fine Arts.
So you guys are in the construction business, but you also take the construction and to the people to have them understanding opportunities. So you're at the vice president level now. You would say you started as an intern.
Yeah.
You guys do a lot with kids. You do a lot with girls, females out there. Explain that commitment to the community for Gilbane's perspective.
Sure. So a couple things. One, if somebody hadn't taken a chance on me, right, I wouldn't be here today. And so I think the way that we kind of think about our social impact is whenever we're in a project, in a community, we're there in order to be part of the community and understand what it is that we can do from a teaching, an experience, and an awareness perspective. So we'll have a couple of externs this summer who come out of the ACE Mentor program. ACE Mentor is Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. We run them out of LC Bird, Highland Springs, and Code RVA. It's been a program since 1994. They've got 70 affiliates across the United States. They do something like 10,000 kids that run through this program every year, and they get exposure to all of those things: architecture, construction, engineering. And so then what we do during the summer is we bring them out to actually work on job sites. So imagine you're 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. You get a chance to just see what it is and if you even like it, right? Because you never know. We also do them in engineering and architecture. So we spend a little bit of time with all of those things. Girls for a Change, we've talked about before.
You're saying yes?
Yes.
I see you everywhere when it comes to those things, and we were just at the Heart Ball.
Yes.
So Gilbane's commitment to the community, you would also drop something on me when we were talking earlier. It is the construction awareness. What's
Construction Inclusion Week. Yeah.
Okay.
It's incredible.
Yes, that is one of my Maggie is here. Construction Inclusion Week. What is that?
Yeah. So several years ago, several members of the very large construction companies across the United States, including Gilbane, said, look, we've got things like Safety Week. We have different ways that we draw attention to the information and the ways in which we deliver. And if we're not being inclusive and putting our perspective on how important it is to be inclusive, well, then we're missing the mark. So they started Construction Inclusion Week. It runs in October. And what we do is a variety of things, everything from awareness. Within Gilbane, we have employee resource groups. So they may have a different theme of each week. So a veterans group, Ujima, our African-American group, Pride, our LGBTQ group, Empower, our women's group, and each of them may have different functions. APIC, which is our Asian professionals group, and it helps to just bring awareness and allow you to be your authentic self at work. And like I said, these are signed on by all the major competitors that we have, because it's not about competing, it's about making construction a better place.
All right, Maggie with Gilbane, one of Mike King here. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Roby Martin with CBS 6 Edith, Virginia, and I was just on the mic with Mike, me, Mike, Marcy, talking about all things Richmond. Tune in, and tune in.
One of Mike King back, Maggie's with me. So when you talk about, there's something in Gilbane that really is focused on the culture of the place. If you have a group for everybody, you're making sure nobody gets left out.
That's correct.
Talk about what that means in the workplace. As you said, you go from being an intern to the vice president level.
Yeah.
And on top of it, so I see you guys out in the community, and I'm sure when you go and you roll up on girls like Girls for a Change, they're looking at you guys like, what, girls can do this?
Sure.
Talk about what that means from a Gilbane, from a culture perspective.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that's super important for us is when you give people the opportunity to see that they can possibly do this in the future, whether it's looking at contracts and being part of legal, to putting on a hard hat, physically standing in the field and directing and superintending the work, which those are all things that I've had an opportunity to do. There's a place for everybody to come to construction, and helping everybody understand that it takes so many different skill sets, so many different ways in order to actually deliver projects, from the planning all the way through actually working from CTE, right? Some of the great things that we have in Chesterfield, Henrico, and in Richmond related to the career and technology education programs. If you don't want to go to college and you know that you have an opportunity to understand how to learn how to do plumbing, how to become a master electrician, those are things that we need to give that exposure to, because it needs all of it in order for buildings to get out of the ground.
One of the cool parts is, so when I was in high school back, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, kids who went to Votech, and that's what we called it. Oh, so your husband, me and her husband went to the same high school.
Yeah.
The best high school in the land, North Penn High School. Shout out to the North Penn Knights.
The Knights.
Okay, so the kids went to Votech.
Yeah.
They were not, we didn't view them as the best kids.
Sure.
Okay. Now we have to call those kids who went to Votech as plumbers and electricians, and it scares the bejeebus out of us, because you know what happened? We're the mechanic. Because now we look at that trade that they learned is valuable. We put a stigma on the trades that it wasn't. That now you go into places and you're explaining to kids and people the opportunities that are out there.
Yeah, it's a living wage. I mean, out of the gate, you're able to provide for your family and have a leg up as you continue to move through it. And that's not something we put a priority on. I mean, I'm I guess 22 years in this business, right? And out of the gate, it was always, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. The reality is, it's an incredible thing to be able to join the trades. They have signing day now. So signing day. Yeah. And that's an incredible way to just bring that awareness and the hype to it. Because I think part of the problem is people are like, oh, it's less than. Right?
Did that happen at the Henrico?
It should be happening shortly if it hasn't
Because I
happened
think I'm supposed to.
Perfect. It's going to be great.
Right, because, okay, so when we were at the Henrico Education Foundation, their gala, and they were talking about the signing day, because they said that's important. It's like athletes get to sign, and you know what? People are going out signing and make a difference. When you talk about, it's not just Gilbane who puts this on, it's competitors too.
Right.
So everyone in the industry sees that this is important.
We do. And I think, you saw us at the Heart Ball, you saw some of our competitors in quotation marks, but what it really is in construction is it's the understanding that there's, it's not pie, right? There's enough for everybody. You just keep building capacity and building opportunity, and people will step into that gap where that opportunity occurs and continue to rise with it. I would never have done that if somebody hadn't done it for me. So it's my obligation to create that next step and bring people along with me.
What was the career path? So you go to Gilbane as an intern.
Yeah.
Okay, where were the steps along the way? And when did you know, like, man, I found a home here?
Yeah, so I went to school at Penn State for architecture. I knocked on a trailer door.
Really?
Yes. So I do not have an engineering degree. As I like to joke, painted pictures. But the reality was, what it taught me was the importance of thorough design and planning. Incredible education program at Penn State for architecture.
What the heck were you gonna do with the degree in architecture?
Architect things.
Oh.
No, I was gonna design buildings, right?
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you wanted to do.
That's what I
when
wanted
you
to
were
do.
as a kid.
But I did. I knocked on a trailer door, asked if they were hiring. They gave me a shot, and one of the first things I did was I got to look at a window detail that wasn't quite working and start to problem solve that. And my boss was like, "So now what happens? Right? What's happening next?" And I realized that people can draw and design, but the people who physically implement it, they have this ownership of quality, of safety, of schedule. And I thrived on that. So when did I know it was my thing? So I've been a superintendent, I've been a project manager, I've been a project executive, I've been a general superintendent, I worked in purchasing, I worked in scheduling. I did a tiny bit in estimating, but I'm not that great at counting and I don't pay attention that long, so it wasn't for me. But as I moved my way through all those things, Gilbane was the place for me. So even if I hadn't quite found what it is that I wanted to do for a living within that company, they kept giving me opportunity to try out other things and to keep succeeding with support, which is so important.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, there are certain things that people would call manly, and construction and fixing and building things is one of them.
Yeah.
That's why I got some issues. I'm not the guy who knows how to fix anything, and I'm not the dude building things.
Sure.
What one of those jobs you went through that was hard is when a woman shows up telling guys what to do. Now, let me take a shot. I think it may be the construction foreman, that when you get the people who are on the front lines of making it happen.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of twofold. The first thing is if you know what you're doing, right? If you're in there, if you're willing to show that you want to work the problem, there's nobody that you can't win over, right? How
long did it take you to win over cavemen? I was in the Army,
yeah,
and we had some cavemen moments.
Sure. And I've certainly lived a couple of those. But I think one of the main things that was important was the person's not trying to intentionally be that way. And so it often came down to, occasionally I had to be like, look, I am not here to cause your day to be more work. I am here to try and help you move forward. And if I'm not understanding something, help me understand how we can start together. So I think that was a lot of the driver. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. That's okay. We just got to be cups of tea together.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, that's a Maggieism right there. We're not there. So I can be my own cup of tea.
I can be your own cup of tea, and you should be your authentic tea.
Yes, mine is kind of like the orange spice. Yeah. I'm not quite the English. That's a little bit stuffy.
Yeah.
Yes, and I can imagine you're like the zinger.
I like a boba tea personally, right? Just really mix it up, add in some ice, get some of the boba.
Is your husband cultured like that he knows what boba is?
Sure.
Maybe it's a younger thing. So boba, yes. All right, so Mike is here. Maggie, how can people find out information about the programs over at Gilbane?
Yeah, absolutely. So gilbaneco.com. And if you go to locations under Richmond, you will find my contact information. In addition to that, ACE Mentor, ACE Mentor Program of Richmond. Just Google that, it'll come right up, and you can find out more about those programs we're doing.
So let's talk about Gilbane when you guys have to support American. Shout out to American Heart. We were just at the Heart Ball the other day.
Incredible work.
Gilbane really is all in.
Yes. Yeah. So since 2018, we did a little bit of research. 16 of our different offices have been participating consistently with American Heart, whether it's Hard Hats for Heart or Tools for Schools or Heart Ball. And so all those programs that just allow us to do something to further the mission for American Heart Association, which is awesome. There you go.
Shout out to, I'd like to thank you for joining the program. Maggie, as I said, she is here coming to the program. American Heart, Gilbane, they're out there really doing such amazing things. Thanks, now. Take care, folks.
Thank you.